had 4 children in the range of 6 years. It was very busy, but all was well until my youngest daughter, Kaylee, after a DPT shot, had changed. She suddenly became lethargic. I had this beautiful baby girl. I look at pictures of her, and she changed. She just became lethargic. She didn't look right. And a mother knows. We know. And again, I didn't trust that in the beginning. I didn't trust. I knew my daughter. I knew looking in her eyes something was off, something was wrong. But I was a good little soldier. I was 12 years of Catholic school. You don't question authority. Doctors are right, nurses, priests, you know, no, you, yes, tell me. Well, I learned the hard way. That's not how it works. That is nothing. I learned the hard way, but I grew from it, and I'm glad. Now I know the truth is, trust yourself. After Kaylee's DPT shot, but see, Karen, you saw that. I still didn't get it. I know she changed. I was like, oh, but I was still a good little soldier. Off I went to the doctor again, and I shot her again with an MMR. Shot her again with the MMR. Well, after that point, oh, we are full-blown asthma. We are full-blown food allergies. We're allergic to the earth, literally to the ocean. There are hives everywhere. Anaphylactic shock. I'm in reactions of like 911 calls. I have 3 other children to manage. They were fine. 2 boys that needed speech, but that was nothing that compared to my daughter. And then I just realized, I started to wake up and say, no, these 2 shots, I started looking back and saying, wait a minute. I had no information on vaccines, trusted wholeheartedly, didn't do my homework, was uninformed. Again, I trusted the system, I trusted my doctor. But finally, I think the last straw was I was down at CHOP, Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, that does many great things. But in my experience, I was smarter than they were. They wanted to give her a flu shot in the middle of her asthma. And I'm going, now, I'm starting to get it. I'm still thinking, oh, you're the big wise doctor, you're so smart, and I'm just a little mom here. Social worker. I used to be a social worker, pretty intelligent, average intelligence, okay, good mom, but not as smart as you. But then I started to get it. Once I was in CHOP, I'm like, when the doctor said we need to give Kaylee the flu shot, she could die from the flu. And I was like, she could die from the flu. And I decided, no. I said, and I flat out didn't know what I was going to do because I didn't research enough yet, but I said, we'll do it when we go home. Yep, I'll go to my doctor, but I knew I wasn't going to do it. My husband's saying, Chris, maybe we shouldn't. And I'm like, no. And he's like, okay. So we take her home, and I decided then that she is mine now. I am going to be the expert. I'm going to research and consult only experts that I feel have my daughter's best interest at heart and know the information. They listen to me. That's when I took her into my own hands. So I was fortunate. I had the resources to restore Katie back through food. Food was her medicine, detoxification. We did a lot of the detox foot baths. I found an MD who was also a homeopath and alternative medicine, and he sat at the table and he took hair samples from Katie and said, Christine, she has a whole array of toxins in her system. Arsenic from chicken, aluminum from the vaccine. He said to me, and he put his glass, I'll never forget, he put his glasses down, he goes, you are lucky she's not autistic. And I just remember looking at him like, is that even a possibility? I had no clue. So at that point, I thanked God she wasn't autistic. It had gone another route of autoimmune where she was really sick. Asthma, food allergies, like I said, she couldn't eat anything. I couldn't take her anywhere. So that began my journey with my daughter. She's 12 years old now. This was at the time when she was about 11 months with the DPT shot. The MMR was 17 to 18 months. So now Katie's 12, and we restored her back through diet and nutrition. She is doing wonderful. So I thought that set me on my path as a mother and a social worker to research what's happening to our kids. It almost brings me to tears because they're our kids, and we cannot go on like this. It's not sustainable. I think your message of turning it around and healing and empower people needs to be spread through like a big microphone so everybody can hear that there's hope. So that led me to research for this book. I started looking into the foods and looking into the GMOs and looking into the toxins in the food system. And then I started to look into vaccines and say, okay, DPT, MMR, I learned from Kaylee, all that's contained in a vaccine. Then we looked into the environment in this book, and then this big circle emerged where it came down to a broken political system. It's a social system. And what we were finding is that our children don't have a voice other than ours. In Washington, the lobbyists go and they march in there with all their money for their pharmaceutical companies and the big agriculture food, and our children are left to fend for themselves because we don't have the money to do all they're doing in the government. So I think it fueled the fire of, you know what, I am going to keep talking and talking to other parents and other people who are open to this, because at this time I just feel like our leaders aren't listening to us, and some of our doctors are not either. So to me, I felt like this book was my way of writing it from a mother, from a parent, from a citizen, from an everyday person, because I truly believe we are going to be the ones that change our system, that change what's happening to our kids. If enough of us stand up, it's been done in the past history, and I think we're going to do it again. So that's my story, personally, Kaylee, and I'm passionate about it because I love children. I love my own children as well as all children, and I want my children to grow into a world that's sustainable, and they can live amongst healthy individuals and not leave them with a giant mess that's scary and frightening, as Karen said.
This is John.
My name is John Tosco. I'm a father of a 1.5-year-old daughter who's I call her my little peanut. Actually, my wife, when we gave birth to my daughter, it was a little difficult because the only way to leave the hospital was we had to vaccinate her with the vitamin K shot, and that was the only way they would actually let us out of the hospital.
I bet you snuck out.
Yeah. I would have too. So, luckily my wife at the time, I wasn't really big into health until something hit me, actually a month before my daughter was born. But my wife actually did a lot of research while she was pregnant on vaccinations and decided to me, Johnny, I don't want to vaccinate at all Madeline. And I said, and I was actually pushing for it in the beginning because I really didn't understand and I didn't do the reading research behind it. So at the time I said, okay, Katie, whatever you back up, I'll back you up 100%. So now looking back, now when we go to my physician, it kind of looks at us like we're a little weird, but actually we both signed waivers to not get her vaccinated. And now she's growing up and she does over 100 different sign languages, just being 1.5 years. She speaks well, eats fruit and vegetables. I mean, my wife feeds her a mix of things, but otherwise, I would always inform parents, just do the research before you decide. I know I'm hopeful to have more kids in the future, not vaccinate anybody, as much as I can, the least that I can. I've seen some autistic kids in my family, and it's hard and it's troubling to see that, especially some of our brothers, they're nephews and nieces to me and cousins, and it's very difficult to see my family as parents go through that, especially kids that you love and you want to make sure they're okay, and that's the hardest part. So like I always tell people, just do your research. I mean, obviously you got to make the decisions for yourself, but I don't promote that. My wife doesn't promote it, and we know in the future we're not going to do it at all, as much as we can. So, I mean, every time we go to the doctor, it seems like my daughter's fine. She's healthy for the 1.5 years, but every time we take her to the doctors, she gets sick. So I don't know if it's just the doctor's office or whatnot, so we always try to avoid as much as we can going there. And it's tough. It's really tough as a parent. You want the best for your kids, and now I understand why my parents wanted the best for me. So that's why I always try to stick with, keeping both our heads straight, me and my wife, and raising my kids to be healthy and not, and be dominant in this lifestyle. So that's all I have.